What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video on the Texas Rangers report. And today I'm coming at you with a video on what will the starting rotation look like in the 2022 season for the Texas Rangers. I'm excited to film this video right now. I just got done writing a college essay, which is extremely tedious and boring. And just a quick note for anybody who might be of a younger generation on this YouTube channel. I'm a senior in high school right now, and it's great because I hardly have any homework at all. If I do, I don't even know about it, but luckily my grades are still good. But the thing is, as a senior, you replace that time filling out a bunch of scholarships, applying to colleges, visiting colleges. It's kind of tedious and annoying, but back to the Texas Rangers. You guys can talk about that in the comment section down below. But to the Rangers, this rotation saw a bunch of different arms this year. I think a few names stood out for sure to move into the future with, but obviously you have guys like Folty, Mike Foltynewicz. He'll be gone after the World Series. Jordan Lyles, he'll probably be gone after, well, he only had 1 year left on his deal, so he will be gone. We'll see if the Rangers bring him back. I don't think they will. Obviously, you had guys like Hyun-Jung Yang, AJ Alexy, Colby Allard, Glenn Otto, Spencer Howard, Dane Dunning, Taylor Hearn, a few other guys. But what will this look like in 2022? Also, Kyle Gibson, he was our ace this year. And Kohei Arihara, he was our number 2 at the start of the year. All those guys are gone. So when I'm looking at a number 1 guy for the Texas Rangers, and hearing all the reports, spending, I think we go for an ace starting pitcher. And I've already listed the top 5 starting pitchers in this free agency market, but I think there's different ways you can go about this. So if you wanted to sign a long-term guy, I think the guy to get is Kevin Gausman. He's pitched like an ace this year, and he's one of the youngest starting pitching aces on the market, and he can be the number 1 for the Rangers. So I think that their number 1 going into 2022 is going to be a free agent. The thing about these pitchers, a lot of them are older guys like Zach Greinke, 38, Justin Verlander, 38. Kershaw, 33, not terribly old, but he has been on the decline. I don't think I'd give him a 4-year deal. 3-year deal, I don't know. 2 years, 2 years is all right. He would probably be the ace of the staff. Johnny Cueto, 35, I don't view him as an ace. Marcus Stroman, maybe. But Kevin Gausman sticks out for me. What do you guys think would be the ace that the Rangers go out and sign? Is it Noah Syndergaard for maybe a discount, only 29? We know what he's done in the past. We don't know what he's going to do in the future after his Tommy John. But yeah, a lot of people have come back throwing harder, but still, it's some people have thrown better, harder. Still, some people don't play well. Some people get injured. So I think the number 1 is going to be a free agent. And right now I'm looking at Kevin Gausman. Obviously, that can change. Maybe it changes to Kershaw later in the year. But right now, I have my eyes set on Kevin Gausman. Now, going to the number 2 spot in the rotation, it's actually an in-house name for the Rangers. That's Taylor Hearn. Fun story about Taylor Hearn. Whenever they traded for him, I was climbing a mountain in New Mexico, and I didn't have any reception whatsoever. But then once I got to the top of the mountain, I turned my phone off airplane mode, turned on my data because it's the trade deadline, 2017, I believe. I know we traded Keone Kela, and I'm like, oh, we got Taylor Hearn. Because I thought we were going to get like a number 1 prospect at the time, because I'm like, Keone Kela's good, so we should get a top prospect. But I was a lot younger at the time. So we got Taylor Hearn and Jordan Apostle. But Taylor Hearn has had a weird career with the Rangers. Obviously, if you guys remember it, he debuted a few years ago and pitched a third of an inning, let up a bunch of runs, then was injured. And last year, he was solid out of the bullpen, but he still wanted to be a starter. The Rangers viewed him as a starter. And then this year, they had him in the tandem role, okay? And then it seems like later in the year, the tandem was non-existent. A few other guys were in the tandem role. It was mainly to reduce the stress on all the younger players with COVID last year. But then they did away with that. He went strictly to the bullpen, and then whenever we traded players, people got injured, he filled in as a starter, and he pitched remarkably well second half of the season. So I think that number 2 spot has to go to Taylor Hearn. Let's see how he does in spring training. I know some of you guys aren't big fans of Taylor Hearn on this channel, but he pitched really well. Let's just be honest. He's pitched well last year as a bullpen player, and he pitched well this year as a starter. I do think he still needs to work on his command, but his stuff, as baseball players like to say, is a really good fastball with a good off-speed pitch as well. So I think right now he's probably the number 2. And going in with the number 3 guy on this list is Dane Dunning. Obviously, we got him in the Lance Lynn deal. I think his Rangers debut was average. He obviously had those first inning struggles for a good portion of the year. But there were times he looked like a solid 2. He could be a solid 2 in the rotation. I don't think he ever becomes an ace. That's just my opinion on the guy. But I think he's definitely a solid prospect to be. He's not really a prospect, but I'm still going to use the term. I think he's a solid guy to be building off of for the future, because he's a high floor, low ceiling type of player in my opinion. He's a smart pitcher, and I thought he pitched efficiently for the innings that he did pitch after the first inning, and then he got injured, which definitely set back his season, and he wasn't the same after his injury. But I do envision that the Rangers are obviously high on Dane Dunning. But if they don't sign a really big free agent and they just go with what they have, I do think he'll be the number 3 guy in the rotation. Now moving to the 4th guy, this is where I do think the Rangers could go another external option via free agency, maybe a trade, like a bad salary for a bad salary, or just like low risk, high reward trade, or you just find some sort of veteran free agent on a 1-year deal. Would you guys be interested in signing Jordan Lyles back? He did pitch a lot of innings this year for the Rangers, and that's valuable because that means guys like Glenn Otto, AJ Alexy, all these younger guys, they didn't have to be pushed to extreme heights this year, but he wasn't great. Like, would you rather have innings or would you rather be winning ball games? So that's one thing you have to view with Jordan Lyles. And if it's on a 1-year deal, don't you think you can find a better option on the free agency market? Like Drew Smyly or maybe Corey Kluber. Do you give him another chance? Or could you give Dylan Bundy a chance? Obviously, he had a good year 2 years ago with the Angels. Was he probably using foreign substances? Yes. But I think that's where the Rangers could definitely go external via trade, via dumping a contract, low risk, high reward trade, or just a low risk, high reward signing. Or I don't know if they would go per se like a Mike Minor signing or Lance Lynn signing here, like a 3-year, $10 million a year. Maybe if the right guy's available. But I think it's one of those 1-year deals for this 4th spot. And 5th guy on this list, I think this will be a toss-up between like 4 players, and then maybe if you get some guys back from injury and they perform well in spring training. But I think this could be a toss-up between AJ Alexy, Colby Allard, Spencer Howard, and Glenn Otto. all these guys showed flashes this year at the major league level. They're all like kind of too good for the minor leagues, but they haven't showed enough in the majors. Do I think Alexei gets that spot? Not really. We needed him this year for because of COVID and whatnot. Spencer Howard does have to prove himself, in my opinion. But Allard, he's been in the organization for a while, so maybe the Rangers want to give him a shot. But it's not really about who they want to give a shot, it's who deserves the shot. And I believe they do all have options, so if they do need to be sent down to the minor leagues, then that's an option as well. But at least in the minor leagues, they will get development. They'll be throwing or pitching every 5th day. And that probably wouldn't be the case in the major leagues if they were all at the major league level. And just as a reference, don't forget guys like a Joe Palumbo, Kyle Cody, those type of guys, or a Brock Burke. Maybe they somehow make it all the way to spring training if they don't get designated for assignment, and maybe somehow they make the major league roster. So I think that 5th spot is definitely open, up for grabs. Obviously things can change from here. Right now it's October, and we have until March, so a lot of things can happen. But at the 1st spot, I have a free agent signing. No, in my opinion, Kevin Gausman. Number 2, Taylor Hearn. Number 3, Dane Dunning. Number 4, an external player. And then number 5, one of the prospects. So thank you all for staying to the very end and watching this video. If you haven't already, please give that a like down below. It helps out the channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, become your #1 source for all things Rangers on YouTube. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.